Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World with me, John Jordan. So in this video I'm just going to have a quick look at some of the distribution platforms for blockchain based PC games. So it's something I've been looking at for a while, particularly with Epic Games Store being quite open to have blockchain enabled games distributed through its store. Obviously there's been stuff I've done looked at in the past. Ultra I guess is sort of a fully on-chain stack for distribution and gameplay and everything like that. We've had things like Robot Cash back in the day, still going, and particularly we've got this new one now called Elixir, and also we have stuff on Steam. So Steam doesn't allow blockchain games at the moment, but people are still putting out Web 2 versions of their Web 3 games on Steam. So it's all a bit of a mush, and I'm sort of trying to look into unmushing it and making it a bit more sensible to see. But let's start off with the Epic Games Store. I've looked at before, so there's a whole bunch of games on here now, over 50. Now most of these are pretty unknown, I would say, even to someone in the space like me. But there are a few sort of standing out. So Superior's been around for a while. Gala Games, Grit has been around for a while. Also Gala Games. Blocklords is an interesting one, as this is a high-profile Web3 game. This I would say is probably in sort of the most anticipated sort of top 10 sort of lists. Interesting strategy game that's now out in early access. You can play that, or beta, I think they're calling it. A whole bunch of other ones. These are pretty well not known to me at all. Mars 4 is a little bit well known. Harvest has sort of got some sort of reputation. Brawlers was a game on Wax as a browser game. Actually quite interested to play that one. There's some interesting stuff in there. None of these ones I've heard of, which is not to say they're not good, but I've just not heard of these. Synergy of Serra has been around for ages, a trading card game, so that's out. This Polka is a poker game. Kingdom Carnage, again, this game's been out for ages. It was originally a mobile game. Cosmic Battle coming out from the Cometh people. A whole bunch of trading card games again. Lords of the Light, trading card game. What else we look at? So these ones on page 2 are a bit older, so these are sort of well known. Some of these at least. So what do we got here? Metalcore. Everyone's looking forward to that one. I think that's a really big sort of mech warrior type open world battling game. Cards of Ether. I can't even do it now. Eternity. Cards of Eternity. What a horrible name. Another trading card game. World's Eternal Online. That's another interesting one. I've played a bit of that. Age of Rust been in development for years. 8-9 Lives Arena. That's been in development for years. Star Atlas in development, obviously. This one's a new one as well. SGT Football. It's pretty interesting. And Blankos, obviously, we've known that. And Core Machines Arena coming to the Rhodium blockchain. So there's interesting stuff on here. A lot of stuff that I've never heard of and probably is not going to really get anywhere. But so this is what's going on here. Most of these are coming soon. We don't know when all these ones are coming out. So I mentioned another platform. So let's have a look at Elixir. So this is just their web interface. You really like Epic. If you want to download these games, you have to download the actual sort of launcher. So they put out a press release today about some of their exclusive games. As we see, some of these we've just seen. So Rainy, the Lords of the Light is also on Epic Games Store. I think actually on some other ones as well. Some of these are exclusive. I think Cyber Titans is exclusive to them. Elemental Raiders. So this is quite an interesting game. Had a look at that. Played that in an early beta. This is exclusive to Elixir, but there is a wish list on Steam for I assume the Web 2 version of it. And again, here we see World's Eternal Online. So this is supposedly exclusive to Elixir, but also showing up on the Epic Games Store. Go figure. Although I think you can probably download this one now. Arradia, that's an interesting one I've looked at before. Tolan Worlds, this is one that I think that is exclusive to Elixir. So some of the ones they do have are exclusive, but most of the ones probably haven't heard of. Mars Force, we just saw, that's on Epic as well. I would say the games on Elixir at the moment are even more obscure than the ones on Epic, at least in my opinion. So Worlds, this is one I would definitely, so I can go and play that. So I would definitely recommend people go and check out Worlds Eternal Online. Sort of like a World of Warcraft type game. So there we go. So there is some exclusive stuff here. So me being me, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on here. So I've tried to organise it, and I've done it all, of course, in a Google Sheet. So this is just my own private Google Sheet. It's not open to anything. But basically, I've put in all the games I can find. These are all PC. Actually, not all just PC games, but these are mainly PC games. Some across platforms. So we've got 226 individual titles. So we've got blankos here. And this number on this side is actually the how many platforms they're showing up on. So we can see here. I've not filled in all the details of the developers and stuff and the blockchains, but here we can see here the Bornless. So this sort of a horror first-person shooter, not out yet, but it's looks like it's going to be listed on the Ultra blockchain, on the Ultra games platform, Elixir, Steam, Epic Games Store, and Hyperplay. So Hyperplay is another sort of launcher for Web3 games. Also does Web2 games. So this is the PC game with the most distribution. It's not out yet. Doesn't look like there's any exclusivity here at all. It's just going on everything. Flame is another one I should point out. I think it's mainly for browser games. So if we look on this line here, we can see how many games that I'm not saying this is comprehensive. I've not looked at Ultra for a while, or Flame for about a month or so. But I've looked at Elixir, Steam, Epic Games Store fairly recently. So we can see here there are 51 games on Ultra. Some of those are not Web3 games. 17 games on Flame. 50 on Elixir. I think they say they have 120 deals in place. 22 on Steam, and that's obviously going up all the time. 64 on Epic Games Store, and that's going up all the time. And then I've put Apple and Google in there as well, because there are some games, particularly something like this, Summoner's War Chronicles from Come To Us. It is a PC and a mobile game, so it's on both the app stores. It's on. You can get a Web 2 version on Steam. There's version on Elixir. Which is Web3, although there's very little Web3 in Summoner's Wars Chronicles at the moment anyway. Also on, so it's on those 4 Cards of Eternia. I can't pronounce. Eternity. Oh boy. So that's on 3. That's on Ultra, Epic Games Store, and Hyperplay. So yeah, you can sort of see. So just. There are an awful lot of games that are there at the moment. Most of them are sort of choosing to be on one platform, but you can see over time something like Cross the Ages, a mobile PC game, is on Ultra and also on the app stores. Splinterlands also on the Flame store, browser store, and also on the app store. So as I say, this thing isn't totally comprehensive, but you start to get a feel of sort of what's going on here. And yeah, Epic Games Store is definitely in the lead with 64 Web3 games in there. Elixir's not far behind, 50, and actually there's not that much sort of crossover between the two, but there is a little bit. Whether exclusives work, probably not. Obviously things like the Bornless are just we're going to go on every platform and get the most distribution. We don't care about exclusives. And to be fair, with stuff like Ultra and Elixir, yeah, they're focused on Web3, but they're probably not getting, they haven't got the reach of an Epic Games Store, and certainly not the reach of a Steam. Steam, how many hundreds of millions of concurrent users? Obviously Steam is the place to be, but you can't be on there with a full Web3 game. Epic Games Store, what they say, 200 million accounts, but people are mainly buying stuff through Steam rather than Epic Games Store. But Epic Games Store is sort of in their secondary sort of position. But stuff like Elixir and Ultra don't have a million even registered users. So it sort of makes sense to go to as many of these things as possible, unless someone's paying you a lot of money to be an exclusive, and probably no one's paying you a lot of money to be an exclusive at this point because there's not enough money in the system. Other stuff like, I just point out, Mavis Hub, so this is for the stuff on Ronin. There's also various other hubs that are coming out, and also for some of these games, I probably should have another column in here. If they're available, some games are just available through the developer's website as well. So they're not just going through sort of a launcher stores, also just available to download. That'd be another whole bunch of work that I don't really want to do at the moment. So anyway, so interesting to see how it all plays out. There is a sort of battle going on for distribution muscle, and it's sort of played between the platforms and the reach they can get, and maybe the money they can get, and the marketing, and developers looking for the best example, the best place to sort of launch. But eventually, I think everything goes on everything. We really. Next year or so, I guess we're waiting to see Steam allow Web3 games, but I guess no one's holding their breath for that. Okay, thanks for watching the video. See you again soon.